Hallo, hoe gaat het? We are finishing section 1 of chapter 9 today. You need to open up your textbooks to page 313 as we finish the section. We've talked about abiotic factors, non-living factors, and biotic factors, living factors. We talked about populations, which is groups of one species, communities, which are groups of populations, and biomes, which are similar ecosystems throughout the world. But what happens when environments change? So here, it's hard to believe, but I actually have the same mountain in this picture. Well, it's not a mountain per se, but a volcano. This is Mount St. Helens, and it's found in Washington State. And it erupted. As you can see in your book, there are some pictures there to show you that erupted. And we have a before picture and an after picture. And you can see this environment, it changed a whole lot. So, before Mount St. Helens erupted, it was 9,677 feet high. After the eruption, it was 8,364 feet high. Much of the mountain material was blasted into the air as ash. During the eruption, winds blew 520 million tons, tons are 2,000 pounds, a ton, of ash eastward across the United States. In Spokane, Washington, 250 miles away, sunlight was blocked out, and the city was in complete darkness. So talk about an impactful volcanic eruption that happened. Now, which biotic and abiotic factors changed after Mount St. Helens erupted? Well, the soil was different composition, different nutrient level, the temperature, different rock level, the temperature. If the sun is blocked out, that affects your light. That's going to cause the temperature to become colder, so it got colder. Air quality, you have a bunch of ash in the air, that changes your air quality. The amount of sunlight, I just said that, it's gone down. Less because it was blocked out by the ash. And the number of variety of plants and animals. So all of this impacted the environment very quickly. Very, very quickly. There was not just a huge cloud of superheated ash and gas, but also mud flows, landslides, and the loss of plant life and animal life. Thankfully, that was 30 years ago. And since then, as you can see in your book, Mount St. Helens is starting to recover from that volcanic eruption. We're going to talk a little bit more about that in a little bit. But you can see in 2013, it looks brown. It's not just gray. And so we've made improvements over just 30 years. Changes in the environment are caused by natural processes like a volcano, like Mount St. Helens, and human actions like deforestation and pollution. Some of these happen fast, some of them can happen over a long period of time, like the Grand Canyon happened over a long period of time. When you have the environment can respond positively or negatively when it has change. A positive effect, if you have an area that has greater rainfall than normal, you can have more plants that grow. However, greater rainfall can also mean more landslides, and you could lose some plants and animal life. A negative effect to change would be a dry season, so you're having a drought. This could cause plants to die. It could cause animals to starve if they don't have food. Producers are very important in food chains. They're the bottom. So everything we do is build off of that. And so if we don't have those producers, we're not able to have the same carrying capacity or amount of species in our ecosystem. Changes in ecosystems can cause positive and negative effects at the same time. Maybe one species or one population benefits while the other one doesn't. Succession is when one community area is changing to another community in an area, so the gradual change. And I have 3 different examples of succession. And this is where Mount St. Helens came in. 30 years, you can see succession happened. It's changed from the volcanic erupted area to maybe a forested area. So this is primary succession. And as you can see in this picture, primary succession models what would happen to a community that starts out with bare rock and then ends as a forest. Now, primary succession takes place over a very long period of time because the rocks have to be broken down, and then lichens and plants and lichens and grass, and then it builds up. But you start with rock and you end up with a forest over a long period of time. Something that doesn't take quite as long is secondary succession. In secondary succession, I start with soil. I don't start with rock. Something has happened very quickly, but I'm able to recover at a faster period. So a fire happens, burns down trees, but I still have soil and trees are able to grow from that. Actually, some trees, like evergreens, release seeds when it is hot, so that works. The third type of succession I wanted to show you is pond succession. So pond succession is when a pond can go to a marsh and can go to a forest. As sediment builds up in the pond over time, plants can grow, causing them to breach the water level. Eventually, all the sediment is filled and the water goes away and is replaced, and you have a forest. So gradual changes over time. And that finishes the section for us. You have your homework to do tomorrow, and you have a fun game where you're trying to keep your populations alive for 12 days. And it is harder than it thought. I didn't know if I was going to make it to 12 days. I ended up doing it, but I was a little bit nervous around day 8. Your Dutch phrase of the day is het gaat goed. So this is the Dutch part. This is what I kind of figured it would sound like pronunciation-wise. So het gaat goed. Those G's have that sound. So het gaat goed. What does that mean? I'm good. So you've learned how to say hallo, hoe gaat het? And then someone could say het gaat goed, which means I am good. Maybe in these next weeks, I'll teach you some other things how to say, like I'm not good, I am tired, I am happy, things like that. Don't forget to write this phrase down. You're going to use it for your homework. All right, have fun playing that game, and I'll see you all later.